So today I'm going to share with you 6 steps to become extremely prolific. Most of us, we followed courses like how to get stuff done or how to become more productive or how to increase whatever um, your work is, like how to become better. But today I'm going to share with you how to become extremely prolific. I'm going to share with you how you can become dangerous. Like right now, the time that we live in, our superpower is often also our biggest weakness. As in, like, we can do so much thanks to the internet, but also thanks to the internet, we're so addicted and so distracted. So, our superpower can actually become laser focused. If you can become laser focused, you can win from most of your competition. If you become laser focused, you can 10x your output. If you become laser focused, you can make so much more money. And if you become laser focused, your career can go to a completely different level. So today I'm going to share with you 6 strategies, 6 techniques, and 6 ideas that will help you become so much more productive, so much more prolific, and also what you will experience if you start applying these ideas is that you will feel that you're fulfilling your potential again. I think one of the biggest problems for us creators, but also for us achievers, is that we oftentimes have this nagging feeling that we know that we're not fulfilling our potential. And that's a big shame, and that's something that's very hard for us creators. We can create so much, we're able to do so much stuff, but the years go by and the decades go by and we're not on top of our game. These ideas that I'm presenting with you are not the normal ideas, are not the ideas that you'll hear all of the time. What you'll hear is you might have to, do a morning ritual, or maybe you need to work with a timer or whatever. There's so many ideas that you can implement to become productive and prolific, but these ideas are quite extreme. And if you start applying these ideas, you can become dangerous in the best way possible. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share 6 ideas with you to become extremely prolific, and I'll just start right away. The first idea that I want to share with you is that from now on, consider creating a daily offline window. You might have heard about intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting is where you have an eating window and you have a fasting window. So a lot of people apply intermittent fasting. So they do like 16-hour fasting window and an 8-hour eating window. So from 10 till 6, they have an eating window, and then from 6 p.m. till 10 in the morning, they have a fasting window. But what if you would apply this exact same principle, this exact same technique/strategy to create an offline window? Most of us, we wake up in the morning, and one of the first things that we're doing is we grab our phones. And then on the phone, we check our messages or emails or social media or whatever it is. And this is like the worst thing you can do to become prolific, but also the worst thing you can do for your blood pressure and your health and your presence and all those things. And we know this, but it's so hard because we use our phone for our alarm clock or maybe for our Spotify or whatever it is. And all of a sudden you're sucked into your phone or maybe your laptop or whatever. What would happen if you start your day with an offline window? 30 minutes, 60 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hours, maybe 3 or 4 or 5 hours. For a long time, what I've been doing is being offline till 3 p.m. So imagine waking up in the morning and have your first online stimulant at 3 p.m. Nothing until 3 p.m. So that's my offline window. And then you do an online window for, let's say, 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, maybe 4, 5, 6 hours, whatever it is. And then in the evening at 8 p.m. or 9 p.m., you switch off again and you go back into your offline window. So you have an offline window when you wake up for, again, you decide, 30 minutes, 60 minutes, 1 hour, that's the same, 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever. Then you have an online window, and that's when you switch on your telephone, your laptop, stuff like that. And then you have an offline window at the end of the evening or maybe early evening. So you claim back your peace of mind, but also you claim back your productivity. And there's a lot of different strategies around this. And what I do is I share all of these strategies in my book, Internet Fasting. It's a brand new book. I'm super excited about this. It's really, really amazing. And you can get this book at internetfasting.com. So if you're interested in reading this book, Internet Fasting, you can buy it at internetfasting.com. So that's the whole idea. Like, can you apply the whole principle, the idea of internet fasting? Can you fast from the internet multiple hours a day? Yes or no? And most people, they never even consider this. Why? Because we all have this thing. We have this phone and we need this phone to do stuff. And I'll talk about that in a few minutes as well. How do you deal with this phone if you really need it, but you also want to apply the whole idea of internet fasting? So the first idea of today is create a daily offline window and start applying internet fasting. So the second idea, and this is amazing, if you really start to apply this, you will go to a completely different level. And the second idea is to work well in advance. And maybe this sounds like, okay, I get that, work well in advance. But I'm going to share with you an idea that you will be like, wow, this really, really makes sense. So for example, just imagine that you have 3 big projects. And let's say, for example, you want to write the outline of a book, or maybe write like the bulk of a book. And if you imagine that project, if you would focus completely and solely on that one project, how much time would that take? Just as an example, we'll take 1 month. So it would take 1 month to create or write the bulk of a book. So that's project number 1. Project number 2 could be, let's say, writing a full year of social media posts. So a full year of Instagram posts. Imagine writing a full year of Instagram posts. Let's say 200 posts. How much time would that take? Let's say, again, 1 month. And then the third project would be write all my emails for my newsletter for a full year. So work well in advance, write all my email newsletters for a full year. So we got the bulk of a book, 1 month. We have a full year of Instagram post, 1 month, and we have all the pre-written emails for all your marketing campaigns, 1 month. Imagine if you want to work well in advance. How are you going to do this? Well, this is something that I've been teaching for a long time, and every time when I teach this, light bulbs go off. People be like, damn, this is extremely counterintuitive, but highly, highly, highly productive. So let's go. Imagine you have 3 projects. You have 3 projects. And the first project is taking 1 month. So these are 3 months. Month 1, month 2, month 3. And the first project is taking 1 month. The second project is taking 1 month. And the third project is taking 1 month. The bulk of the book, the Instagram post, and all the emails. You are, and I'm assuming here, you are highly creative. You have a lot of ideas. You might be easily distracted. I'm guilty of this. So let's say we have 3 projects. We have 3 months. Are we going to work on one project until finished and then go on to the second project? Or do we prefer to work on multiple projects at the same time? Well, obvious, we love to work on multiple projects at the same time because we get bored easily. And it's very counterintuitive to work on one project at one time. So we want to work on 3 projects for 3 months. So, because we think that makes sense. In 3 months, we do 3 projects. So, what will happen after the first month? So, if you do 3 projects at the same time versus 1 project at the same time, if you do 3 projects at the same time, we'll go to the first month. After the first month, how many projects did you finish? After the first month, if you work on 3 projects at the same time? Well, it's very clear. After 1 month, you finish 0 projects because you do 3 at the same time, which is following our intuition. Okay, let's go to the second month. How many projects did you finish after 2 months if you do 3 projects at the same time, assuming they're all 1 month per project? Well, after 2 months, there's 0 projects finished because we're working with 3 at the same time. And guess what's going to happen at the end of the second month mark? What do you think? Especially when you are a creative, especially when you are easily distracted, and especially if you don't have too much patience. At the end of the second month, what's going to happen is, this is not going to work. You know, I've been working for 2 months, nothing really happened. This is not going to work. And I'm not excited about these projects anymore. So what we're going to do is we come up with a new project and we add another project. And then after 3 months, 0 projects are done because we added another project. So I'm not saying that you shouldn't have a lot of different projects. But what I am saying, and this is the well in advance strategy, and this is highly counterintuitive, but what I am saying is imagine if you would limit yourself to 1 project at a time and finish the project, and after finishing the project, go on to the next project. So if I go to this example, same example, we got 3 months, we got 3 projects, and instead of working at 3 projects at the same time, we work on 1 project at the same time. What happens after the first month if you work on 1 project at the same time? Real simple. You finished a project and you created something that you can release into the world. In this case, we finished the bulk of a book and it can go to the publisher. So the publisher or the editor, they can do their thing. Awesome. And now we got momentum. Now stuff is going on. Now stuff is happening, I should say. We enter the second month, and after the second month, we're focused on 1 project, and we finished 2 projects. We finished the bulk of the book, and we finished all our social media posts for the full year. So for the full year, we created all the social media posts. Imagine pre-writing all your social media posts and you don't have to think about it for a full year. What would it be like? And I'm going to talk about that a little bit as well later on. So after 2 months, you finished 2 projects. But what happens after 3 months? After 3 months, you created 3 projects, and now you can stack those projects. It's the same amount of projects. It's 3 projects, 1 month per project. But if you work simultaneously on multiple projects all the time, you won't finish anything or hardly anything because you're sort of all over the place. But if you do it step by step by step, again, highly counterintuitive, this will make you extremely prolific. So you work well in advance. So I'll show you one idea or one practical example of how I'm doing this. So for me, I'm an internet entrepreneur. And I've been building online businesses since 1999. I've been selling online since 1999. And what I learned is that email marketing is the way to go. I've been doing this like email marketing literally since 1999. So it's a super, super valuable and very important strategy in our business. However, I don't like to send an email or 2 or 3 or 4 per week. And I don't like to think about having to write emails. But what I am, and this is what I notice with a lot of entrepreneurs, we are maybe a little bit low on discipline, but we're high on willpower. Ask us to do a repeating task all the time, and we get bored really easily. ask us to move a mountain, and we'll move that mountain. So if you are like that, if you're high on willpower but sort of low on discipline, what if you would do extreme batching, work well in advance? So back to all the emails. If I show you this example, this is, and what you see in the screen is all of my emails for 2026. So I pre-wrote all the emails for 2026. And to give you an idea of my business, I'm a big fish in a small pond in the Netherlands and in Amsterdam. And I've been doing that for 20 years. And I have an amazing small little business in the Netherlands. We only have 2 people in my team, and we've been doing consistent 7 figures in sales in the Netherlands. And which is awesome, which is amazing. And I did my first €1,000,000 in 2007 in the Netherlands, and last year, 2025, we had our record year. 2026 is going to be a record year for us as well, even if I would do nothing from now on. If I would do nothing from now on, I know for almost a fact that this year will be a record-breaking year. Why? Because literally in the screen you see 8 pre-written launches for the next 12 months. So I'll go back one slide to get a little bit more of your attention. For us, a big part of our business is we do launches and campaigns. So a launch is a 16-day sequence, and a campaign is a 4-day sequence, or a 2.5-day sequence, I must say. And a launch is 12 emails, and a campaign is 4 emails. So that's 4 emails and 12 emails, which is 16 emails, and that's for 1 quarter. And I pre-wrote 64 emails for the full year, and now I know for a fact that for the whole year, all the emails will be sent out. So all the emails are ready, all the sales pages are ready, all the VSLs are ready, all the automated webinars are ready. Everything is ready for 2026. I teach a course called Massive Passive Income. When you look at passive income, a lot of entrepreneurs think it has to be like a membership or maybe organic reach, so people buy your stuff automatically. And yes, that is passive income. And you might do like 5,000 a month or 10,000 a month, but with massive passive income, you can go to levels like 50,000 or 100,000 or multiple 100,000s a month if you apply this idea. Imagine pre-write all your campaigns for the full year. Your business will go to another level because this has so many upsides. And in another video, I will teach this as well. The video is called Massive Passive Income. But this is the idea of pre-write all your emails or work well in advance. So that's number 2. The first one is apply internet fasting. The second one is work well in advance and do it like step by step, like project per project instead of all the different projects, because then you won't get anything done. The third one is quite extreme, and I don't know. I think I don't know anybody who does this. And even with the first one, internet fasting, how many people do you know that really apply internet fasting? Not that many. How many people do you know, the second one, that actually pre-write all the emails for a full year? Probably nobody. And how many people do you know that apply this strategy? And this strategy is very simple. It's give away all your social media passwords. What do I mean by this? One of the biggest robbers of productivity and focus and presence is obviously this thing. It's your iPhone or whatever phone that you're using. And it's not necessarily the phone that you're using, but it's the apps that are on your phone. It's your Instagram or your TikTok or your YouTube or your Facebook or your LinkedIn or your X.com or whatever it is. It's created, those apps are created to steal your time, to steal your brain, to steal your presence. And it's just highly addictive. I think social media is the number one socially acceptable addiction, and it is up to us to really claim back our productivity. And it's very, very, very hard to fight the fight with those apps, to need to use discipline to not be on those apps, to not check your messages, to not check your likes. It's very, very hard. So my idea for you is something you could consider, and it's quite extreme, and I've been doing this for now over 10 years, on and off, more off than on, is I just give away my social media passwords to my team. Again, I said I only have 2 people in my team, and they have the passwords to my social media. And for years and years and years, for me, I've been unable to actually access my social media myself. Why? Because I don't have the password. My team has the password, and they are actually uploading the content. So I can make a video, I can write a text, I can make a story, I can do all those things. I send it to my team, and they upload it on, for example, Instagram or LinkedIn or whatever social media platform, which is highly counterintuitive, contrarian. Most people won't do this, but if you do this, something magic will happen. All of a sudden, this thing, this iPhone or whatever phone you have, I mean, there's nothing really to be addicted to because there's no apps on the phone. You might be browsing news or whatever. You can still do that. You can still block that as well, and I have some ideas about that as well, which I will share with you. But you will have instant peace of mind if you are addicted to social media, and most of us were quite addicted to social media. Counterintuitive ideas: give away your social media passwords to the people that you trust, and you stop consuming content on social, and you start creating more content to put on social. You don't put it on social yourself, you'll have your team put it on social, or maybe your spouse or your partner or your kids or your brother, whatever it is. But this is a counterintuitive idea that's also, nobody really does this, but you will make a big impact with this. Okay, that's a third one. Fourth one, and I hope you are enjoying this, and I would appreciate it if you are enjoying this to get some feedback in the comments. I just started out on YouTube, and I really appreciate it if I get some feedback. So if you would put a comment and maybe share your biggest insight, or maybe even if you don't agree, or if you have a question about this, like, okay, Ilka, that's cool to do internet fasting, but how do you do this or whatever, I would really appreciate any comment. And if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do so. You will get notified whenever I release another masterclass, because my intention on YouTube, and I've been doing this for 20 years in the Netherlands, I've done nothing outside of the Netherlands. My intention on YouTube is present to you ideas that are unique, really unique, and highly effective. So yeah, please comment downstairs and give it a like or subscribe or whatever those things you need to do to for me to get the engagement. I just really like the interaction. So the fourth strategy, the fourth idea, is something that I started applying, I would say like 7 years ago. I'm in a group here in Phoenix. I'm in Miami right now, but it's in Phoenix, and it's called Genius Network / the 100K Group. It's called the 100K Group, and I invest $100,000 per year to be in that group. It's a group that's being facilitated by Joe Polish, which is a dear friend of mine, and it's really, really valuable. And what they do is they invite experts to teach their topics, and we'll have great discussions and all of that. And a couple of years ago, like 6 years ago, he had one guest, and his name is Stephen Kotler. And Stephen is the co-founder of the Flow Research Collective, and he co-founded this with Rian Doris. And Stephen, during that presentation, started talking about flow, like how do you get into flow? And I was fascinated by this whole idea of flow. How do you access flow? And it was super, super valuable, but something didn't really click for me. I was like, okay, this is really cool, but how do you actually do this? So I started researching Stephen Kotler, and I got into a podcast episode with him and Joe Rogan. And then Stephen said something to Joe, which he didn't say during the 100K meeting. And he said something like, I get into flow within minutes of waking. I think he said within 7 minutes of waking, I get into flow. So I wake up And I open up my computer, I get a cup of coffee, and I start writing. And I start writing and writing and writing and writing, and that's how I get into flow. I don't want to wake up and do those earthly things. I don't want to be in contact with people. I don't want to see an email. I don't want to even see the sunlight. I want to wake up because then I'm in a certain state, alpha or theta state or whatever. They can explain it way better. And when he said that, something clicked. I was like, that's fascinating. I think I can do that. And from that moment on, I woke up. And my tactic is actually really simple. I wake up, and within a couple of minutes, I open my laptop. I have a pot of tea with me, and I just start creating. So I could work on presentations, I could work on writing, I could work on strategizing, whatever, but anything creative. And funny thing is, and I'm very honest with you, the first couple of minutes I'm super, super groggy because the last thing I want to do when I wake up is being behind a laptop and just working. But something magic happens after 5 or 10 minutes. You access flow. So Steven is explaining this really well, but also his co-founder, Rian is explaining this really well. I would highly suggest watching his videos as well. And he takes it to an extremer level. And I really appreciate his thinking. He's also a good friend of mine and a mentor of mine. He talks about getting into flow within 90 seconds or even 60 seconds. Something magic happens. The beginning, the first couple of minutes are really, really hard. But once you're once you went through 5 or 10 minutes, bam, you get into flow. And you start creating and creating and creating. It's very hard to get into that flow if you are wide awake and you just check some emails, just had some breakfast or whatever. There's just some magic happening. So first couple of minutes are really hard, and then you access flow, and it's like rainbows and unicorns, like all these magic insights, they happen, and you see the big picture. It's magical. It's really, really, really cool. And I call this fasted flow. So why do I say fasted flow? My rules for flow, and again, check Rian, check Stephen Kotler. My rules for fasted flow is no internet. Obviously, I'm internet fasted, so no internet. And so that's rule number 1. Rule number 2 for me is I have a pot of tea and I'm drinking tea. And rule number 3, I just create. And during the first 3-4 hours, sometimes even 5 hours, no food. So let's say you're waking up at 7 a.m. and 7:05 you're creating. You're not eating for the first couple of hours. And if you really want to stretch it, let's say it's 11 a.m., you've been working for 4 hours with some micro breaks in between. During those breaks, no triggers, no stimulants, no internet, no social media, no emails, nothing. Maybe take a shower, maybe whatever, do whatever you want to do. If you really get hungry, my technique is have a small protein shake, and preferably a protein shake without stimulants. So a boring, natural whey protein, whatever. Small one so you can stretch your fasted flow phase for another, let's say, hour. And so this is the whole idea of fasted flow. Get into flow within 10 minutes of waking up. Preferably no human contact, no outside contact, just really you in your zone. It's hard at the beginning, but it's magic in the middle. And as Robin Sharma would say, it's gorgeous at the end, because you'll feel amazing getting your best work done and being more prolific than you've ever been. So that's the 4th idea. The first idea is start internet fasting. The second idea is work well in advance, and the third idea is give away your social media passwords, and the 4th one is get into fasted flow within 10 minutes of waking up. Crazy idea, but highly effective. So the 5th idea is something that I get a lot of positive feedback on, and people see themselves doing it. So what I have is, and this might sound very contrarian, because I'm talking about internet fasting, I'm talking about not being distracted, I'm talking about getting rid of all the stimulants. But my 3rd idea is to get a joy phone. And a joy phone, what is a joy phone? So this, for example, this is not a joy phone, this is a business phone. On this phone, I got my emails, I got my banking apps, I got my partners, my business partners, I got my team, I got some clients. Like, this phone is business. This is my business phone. This is my normal phone. This phone, however, this is my joy phone. Everything that this phone has is joy. So this phone has the people that I love the most. And I know that if they send me a message on, for example, WhatsApp or text message, that is joyful, it's fun, it's amazing, it's cool. It's nothing to be worried about. This phone, like, I have a pretty amazing, healthy, clean, trigger-free business, but still, I get messages like, oh, can you do this, or can you do this, or whatever, or even like, whatever it is, it could be something that's triggering me and that could get me out of my flow or out of my zone. Anything business can obviously trigger easily. So this is not a safe phone. This is a safe phone. This is a joy phone, so it only has joy. This phone has never ever been on email. This phone doesn't have a banking app. This phone has no social media. This phone has no contacts of my business people or whatever. So I have two different phones and two different numbers. Business phone, business number, and my joy phone and a joy number. So all of my best friends, all the people that I truly, truly love, they are on this phone. This phone also has a lot of people that I love, but it's not trigger free. It's not trigger free. So the idea is to get a joy phone. And why is this so valuable? Let's say you want to apply internet fasting, but you also feel like, man, I want to order Uber Eats, or I want to Shazam something. Shazam is on this phone. Or I want to play a song on Spotify. I want to search for a song on Spotify. Internet fasting is not really working well if you need the internet. And the cool thing with a joy phone is you will be able to use the internet without all the addictive stuff. So this phone, it has Spotify, it has Uber Eats, it has obviously notes, it has, I already said this, probably Spotify. I can make pictures, videos, all that stuff. And this one has all the business stuff. If I open this phone in the morning, I can be easily triggered. If I open this phone after like an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours after waking, it doesn't trigger me because none of the social media apps are there, none of the business apps are there. It's just joy only. However, in the screen, you see 3 phones. And my idea or my invitation for you is absolutely get a joy phone that's trigger free and that only gives you joy, only sparks joy. I actually have 3 phones. Again, this is contrarian compared to what I'm teaching, maybe, because, okay, you want to be less on the internet and you got 3 phones. Are you like out of your mind? Maybe a little bit, but sometimes that's a good idea. This, my business phone, business email, business text, banking app, all that stuff. This is my joy phone, people that I love, all that stuff. But then I got my 3rd phone, it's over there. It's actually recording right now. And that's my social media phone. So I actually have a separate phone. It doesn't have a phone number, but I have a separate phone that's my social media phone. And right now, in this phase of my career, in this phase of my life, I actually am on social media. I just shared with you, give away your passwords. Like since 2 weeks, since years, I'm back on social media because I'm starting back on social media. I'm starting teaching on YouTube and everything. So I want to be in the game for a while. I have a separate phone for social media. Why? Because I'm very aware extremely how addictive this is. And if it would be on my joy phone wouldn't be my joy phone. If it would be on my business phone, like I wouldn't be focused. With my business phone, I want to get stuff done, answer emails, answer text messages, do payments, whatever. So I have a 3rd phone, and I know this sounds extreme, but it's very clarifying in a way. So for example, this morning, I got on my scooter. We're in Miami right now. I got on my scooter, and I love working in the One Hotel. One Hotel is my favorite hotel chain, and I go there, and I did bring my business phone. I brought my joy phone. I didn't bring my social media phone because I don't want to be there and be sucked into social media. So yes, it might sound extreme to have 3 different phones, However, it will actually save you screen time. So have 3 different phones will actually save you screen time, which is, again, contrarian or counterintuitive, but I can almost guarantee that you will have less screen time if you use your phone for different functions. So that's another quite extreme idea, and that's the 5th idea. And I will go on to the last idea of this masterclass on how to become peacefully prolific, how to become dangerous. And this is something that, man, I'm most excited about this idea. And I know that if you start applying this, your life literally is going to change. And again, this is also something that's not easy to do, but once you've done it, everything becomes more easier. I oftentimes say that if you are willing to do the hard things in life, I should say almost, if you are willing to make the hard decisions, life will become easy. But if you're only willing to make easy decisions, life will become hard. So if I look at my ideal week, honestly, and I'm not sure what it's like for you, but honestly, I love looking at my calendar. I'm not going to show you, but I'll show you in a second. I love looking at my calendar and have nothing on the calendar. Like waking up on Monday and looking at the calendar, like, I got nothing this week. I have no appointments, no meetings, no clients. That's something that I'm super, super excited about. So the 6 strategies, like I'm going to show you right now, like what my schedule looked like a year ago. And it's not extreme, but this is what my schedule looked like a year ago. As you can see, maybe, is that in the mornings usually were mine. Like I was like, oh, the mornings are mine, and I might have some meetings in the afternoon, or maybe some meetings in the evening, because I love to wake up and get into flow. And if there's any meetings in the morning, I will never get into flow. So I was quite convinced that I had a lot of freedom and a lot of white space in my calendar. And then I actually had a conversation with Rian Doris that I talked about this previous, the co-founder of the Flow Research Collective, and now owner of flowstate.com. I had a conversation with him, and so I shared with him, like, man, I feel a little bit spread too thin. Like, I feel like there is some meetings and there is some stuff during the week, like every day, like 2 or 3 small things, nothing huge. I actually have a lot of white space-ish, but I don't feel that I have a lot of white space. And then he said to me, like, what if you would do everything on one day? It's like, I love the idea. I love the idea of doing everything on one day. But what if you would do everything on one day? I was like, well, that's impossible. Like, I can't do that because, right now, I think if I would cram everything in, if I would batch everything, it would be maybe 2 days. So I could do, let's say, Wednesday and Friday, or Wednesday and Monday, or Monday and whatever, something like that. If you don't know, what would you do if you would do everything on one day? I was like, well, my core belief is that the mornings are mine, so maybe I should forget about the whole idea of the mornings and do one day where I just do meetings on meetings on meetings on meetings on meetings. I think I can actually make this work. I think this is actually something that I can do. So I'm going to do all my meetings on Wednesday, because I have a weekly call with my clients. It's called the Bar Raisers. It's a group that I'm mentoring, and it's on Wednesday, so I'm going to do everything on Wednesday. And then Rian said, no, you have to do it on Monday. It's like, why do I have to do it on Monday? What's the difference if I do it on Wednesday, on Monday? He was like, well, if you do it on Monday, then on Tuesday you wake up and you can get into flow. And on Wednesday, you will experience more flow. And on a Thursday, like, it's just amazing. Like, you get so much stuff done. On Friday is rainbows and unicorn, and then you can chill during the weekend, and on Monday you'll have your meeting day again. So, well, I can't do that because I got my clients, blah, blah, blah. It's, Ilko, you gotta do it. So I made the tough decision to tell all of my clients who paid 33,000 euros a year to be my client, to be in that group, like, okay, we're gonna move from Wednesday to Monday. So it took a couple of months to actually transition from Wednesday to Monday, and this is right now what my week looks like. On Monday, I have a couple of meetings, and that's it. And it's amazing. And as you notice, like there's way less meetings than a year ago, because once you start create more white space in your calendar, you want more white space. Compare it to cleaning up your home. Like if you get rid of stuff and cleaning up your home, the cleaner it gets, the more obvious it becomes to, okay, what else can I throw away? And for me, I don't want to do a lot of meetings. I'm a creator. I want to be creative. I want to make cool stuff. I want to have a lot of space. I want to be in my own zone. I want to get flow, but I also really want to have the freedom. And having a schedule full with meetings, it's not free for me. So now Monday is my meeting day, and the rest of the week is completely off. And that's how you make big moves when it comes to your productivity and your peace of mind and your creativity, and that's how you can become dangerous. That's how you can become peacefully prolific. So if I would summarize these strict 6 strategies, and hopefully this is valuable for you, hopefully you get some new ideas, like, man, never really heard of these ideas, or might have heard of these ideas, but I never really thought that I could apply it this way or whatever. I can almost guarantee that if you pick one of these 6, your life can radically change. You can become dangerous in the best way possible. If you apply this for 12 months, if you do 2 or 3 of those things, in a year you'll look back like, wow, I've done more in the last year than I've done in maybe the previous 5 or maybe even the previous 10 years. So if I would summarize it, the first one is create a daily offline window. How long will you be offline compared to online? You can work during those offline hours, you can create during those offline hours, but how much time are you going to spend offline versus offline? Apply internet fasting and buy my book at internetfasting.com. It's pretty amazing. The second one is work well in advance. What would happen if instead of you doing some stuff all the time and like having this shared focus on one project and finish the project and then move on to the second project. So that's the second one. Third one is give away your social media passwords. What would happen if you wouldn't have access to social media anymore and you will start creating instead of consuming? What would happen for you? The fourth one is get into fasted flow within 10 minutes of waking up. It's an extreme idea. I'm very aware that is a very extreme idea, but it can be very hard and magical at the same time. And then we go on to the fifth one, and the fifth one is get a joy phone. Get yourself at least a joy phone so you can separate the business from the fun and the business from joy. And then we'll go to the last one, and the last one is schedule all of your meetings on one day, or maybe 2 days, or maybe even 3 days, but at least get some more white space in your calendar. So hopefully this was valuable for you, and I know there's a different level for you as well when it comes to your income. If you are a creator, if you are somebody who wants to sell online, if you sell online courses, online coaching, whatever it is, there's a completely different level available for you when it comes to your income, and especially your passive income. If these ideas resonated with you, then I can almost guarantee that if you want to increase your passive income, you will definitely have to watch my next masterclass. And my next masterclass, it is called Massive Passive Income. And I will share with you 3 steps to easily 10x your monthly passive income. If you're at a passive income level of, for example, 5K per month right now, as a creator, selling courses, as a coach, whatever, I can almost guarantee that you can 10x that if you apply the principles in my next masterclass, which is called Massive Passive Income. So go to the Massive Passive Income Masterclass, and also let me know in the comments what you thought about these ideas, and all the best to you.